for Thursday, December the 17th. Please stand for the invocation, which will be given by Ralph Lopez, and the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led by Mayor Pro Tem Duplantis.
Please bow our heads. Dear Heavenly Father, we have so much to be thankful for, even in a hard year like we've had. Lord, but we always have blessings from you, and we just hope that you help us see them. We hope for a better year next year, and we thank you for those blessings in advance. Just want to ask for your wisdom tonight, Lord, to help us make the decisions that we need to make, and just ask you to watch over us all and keep us safe and healthy, Lord. Thanks for seeing us all here safe and see us here safely home, from here safely home. We ask for, or give you thanks, Lord, for your biggest blessing of all. That's the sacrifice of your Son, Jesus. This is his name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call.
Mayor Litchfield,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Duplantis,
here.
Commissioner Moya,
Here.
Commissioner Villanueva,
Here.
Commissioner Arias.
Here.
Are there any considerations of changes or deletions to the agenda?
No, ma'am, no changes or deletions tonight.
There being none, I would entertain a motion to accept the agenda as is.
Madam Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as is.
I'll second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Duplantis.
Yes.
Commissioner Moya.
Yes.
Commissioner Villanueva,
Yes.
Commissioner Arias,
Yes.
Mayor Litchfield.
Yes. Do we have anyone for public comments tonight?
No, ma'am.
Okay. We will go on to the consent agenda. The consent agenda is approved by a single motion. Any member of the commission may request an item be transferred to the regular agenda from the consent without discussion or vote. The items under the consent agenda are approval of the December 3rd special commission meeting minutes, the December 3rd regular commission meeting minutes, the approval of December 7th special commission meeting minutes, acknowledgement of planning and zoning minutes from June 23rd, 2020, and approval of the 2021 employee calendar. I would entertain a motion to approve this agenda, the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion, we approve the consent agenda of the December 3rd special commission meeting, the December 3rd regular commission meeting, December 7th special commission meeting, and the planning and zoning minutes from June 23rd, and the employee calendar of 2021.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Moya,
Yes.
Commissioner Villanueva,
Yes.
Commissioner Arias,
Yes.
Mayor Litchfield,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Duplantis.
Yes.
Okay. Next is ordinances and resolutions. Page here. The first resolution is a resolution authorizing the assignment of authorized officers and agents for sewer infrastructure improvement project.
And for the record, that number, resolution number is 2020-42. And I do have it on the original resolution.
2020-42, correct.
Good evening, Mayor Commissioners. We were awarded a SAP grant from the legislature last cycle. I can't remember how long ago that was, for the amount of $300,000. As part of that, we need to assign officers and agents for that project, and this resolution is to do that. At this time, I'd like to ask for your approval of it.
Okay. Commissioner Arias, any questions?
This project that we were going for, this was for between KOA and the intersection at 54, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, this will only be a fraction of that. Probably it wasn't as much as we asked for, so it'll probably be a phase project, but this will get us started.
Mayor Pro Tem Duplantis, any questions?
No questions.
Mayor. Commissioner Moya, any questions?
The question I have is, the part we're gonna start fixing, remember the question that was brought up was the fact is that a huge amount of the sand was coming in and destroying all our equipment. Are we repairing that part first, or
We probably need to do some engineering and find out where we need it the worst. I don't know that we know exactly where we're getting the infiltration at yet.
According to the contract we were reading there, it says, near, the Tributary Lake area,
Correct.
it was, on the thing.
This is not enough to even, by the time we do the engineering, not enough to even do but a small fraction of even the lake area. So we're still investigating. It'll be early. We'll probably pay for our engineering for the project first, but it's still in discussion. So
Oh. Out of this money? Just the engineer, we're not gonna do any construction?
we don't know yet. Like I said, we'll study it and find out. One of the ideas was to do all the engineering for the whole project or as much as we can of it. And the other option is, of course, is to do enough to engineer a portion of it and do construction on a portion of it.
When he was presenting to us, it was a real crucial thing because of the fact that the sand was feeding up the equipment at the treatment plant.
It is.
And therefore, there was an emergency kind of necessity. So if we're gonna continue, just an engineer, I guess.
We will if funds allow it. It's a fraction of what we need. This would probably be about a $1.8 million project to complete it, the entire thing, and we have 300,000. So it's not enough to fix the entire problem, but it's enough to get us started on it.
Here,
And some of this line, wasn't it collapsed under I-40?
That's been repaired already.
Oh, it has.
We did that part already. This would be from like the bug farm back towards this way, back to the.
On the other side.
Yes, on the East Route 66 lift station, from there all the way back up to where we fixed it on I-40 already.
Did you have a question, Mark?
no, ma'am, just a few statements. So the first thing I'd like to do is, I'm really happy to announce that we were still able to keep this funding. We were worried that with some of the sweeps that went across the state with the legislature recently, that we weren't going to get our capital outlay request. Thankfully, we were able to obtain that. And like Commissioner Moyle was saying, this is something to fix a bigger scope or project, but realistically, through capital outlay, we can only receive so much of the funding. And with that, like Ralph was saying, realistically, we'll go out. The next step is once this agreement's approved, we'll start going out for an RFP for engineering services. That way they could start the preliminary side of things on the work and make sure they have everything they need to. And then based on that contract amount, what they feel it'll take to design the actual reconstruction of that area, will let us know how much money we have left over for construction. But like Ralph was stating, Mr. Lopez, there's no way $300,000 can cover that whole project. So that's something we're gonna have to be creative with, and we'll be going forth soon to discuss the next capital outlay request. And my suggestion after speaking with Ralph, it's either gonna be a follow-up with the previous capital outlay funds that were provided for the 11th Street water tanks. If not, then the next priority most definitely is that east side sewer improvements.
But if that's such in bad condition, is there other ways to get that? Some of the part that is the worst part? Because of the equipment we're buying because of the sand and wearing it out, that's kind of expensive for the community.
So we do have some infiltration coming in. We've found some damaged manholes in the past, which has reduced that infiltration. For the most part, it's normal wear and tear that we're receiving on our equipment right now. I don't think it's escalating it due to the infiltration we are getting right now. So I think we're still in a spot where we've caught it at a point where we could explore other options, whether it's capital outlay requests in the future or different grant opportunities, whether it be Clean Water State revolving loan funds. We have options, and we'll explore all those avenues once we obtain an engineer.
Yeah, well, I understand that, but the way it was presented was such a crucial thing at that time. That's why we only went for one item in the capital outlay, because we wanted to make sure these got funded. And so now I'm hearing a different story, and it's okay. You know, it still needs to be repaired because the infrastructure of the community needs to be kept up to standards. But you know, it's always good to always get a better insight before we because my interpretation was that it was such a crucial thing. It is a crucial, everything is crucial, especially when it comes to infrastructure, but that he was really creating more problems. That's why I was concerned about how we're gonna fund the remainder part, you know, I mean, that was the whole deal. Okay, thank you.
All right, Commissioner Villanueva, do you have any questions?
No, ma'am, Mayor. I think Ralph answered it for me.
All right, then I will entertain a motion to approve this resolution.
Madam Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve resolution 2020-42.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Villanueva,
Yes.
Commissioner Arias,
Yes.
Mayor Litchfield,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Duplantis.
Yes.
Commissioner Moya.
Yes.
Next is bids and contracts. Thank you, Ralph.
Thank you.
First is approval of notice of reward for RFP number 2002 old and new landfill. Who is,
That would be me, Mayor. Okay, this is the evaluation results for RFP 20-02, old and new landfill. The RFP was issued on September 16th, 2020, and the due date was October 16th. So we had it out for proposal for 30 days. We received 2 proposals. As you can see, I listed the proposals we received. They were both found to be responsive. Committee of 5 evaluated the responses using the attached instruments, and of course I attached how they scored each engineer. And after evaluating the responsive proposals and after conducting interviews, the evaluation committee has selected the firm that's mentioned as the most advantageous to the city of Tucumcari.
okay,
And so I ask for your approval.
okay. Are there any questions, Commissioner Moya?
The only thing I have, when you refer to the old landfill, is that the one on 104?
It's on the Landsfield Road. It's, I don't think it quite meets up to 104.
Okay, but it's the north part of town, right?
Correct.
Okay, I just wanted to know what geographical we're looking at.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Commissioner Arias?
I was just out of curiosity for myself, how long are we responsible for maintaining the old landfill?
Forever.
It's a certain time period. I should know this. I want to say it's, I want to say 20, 25 years. I could get the answer for you. I know it's a certain regulation, a certain amount of years. I will get that answer.
And that one's been closed in just the last 10 years, correct?
Correct. Since the new landfill's open, going out towards the Ag Experiment Farm off of 54. But I will get you that answer. I'd have it at the tip of my tongue. I should know, but it slipped my mind.
I think it's 30.
Is it 30?
I think so.
Okay. Commissioner Villanueva? Any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No, ma'am, Mayor.
Mayor Pro Tem Duplantis, do you have any questions?
No.
Okay. Then I would, call for excuse me, went blank there for a minute. Call for a motion to approve notice the award for the RFP 2002 for the old and new landfill to the company that they had suggested.
I'll make a motion that we move with the approval of the notice of award for the RFP 2002 old and new landfill.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Arias,
Yes.
Mayor Litchfield,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Duplantis,
Yes.
Commissioner Moya,
Yes.
Commissioner Villanueva.
Yes.
All right, next on the agenda is approval of agreement between the city of Tucumcari and the awarding engineer RFP 2002.
That is going to be me as well, Mayor.
Is it Mark or you?
And
Will I present it, you want?
Go ahead.
Okay. So this agreement is the agreement that goes with the notice of award that you all just approved. Again, that agreement is confidential until it's approved by all parties. So I ask for your approval.
Okay. Do I,
Very simple.
very simple, do I have a motion to approve the agreement between the city of Tucumcari?
So just real quick, Mayor, you'll see on there that there's no dollar
Right,
amounts mentioned, but the task orders that are following have those numbers.
Have the numbers
So,
on there.
yes.
okay. All right, so I'd entertain a motion to approve the agreement between the city of Tucumcari and the awarding engineer of in RFP 2002.
I'll make a motion to approve the agreement with the engineer from RFP 2002.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, roll call please.
Mayor Litchfield,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Duplantis,
Yes.
Commissioner Moya,
Yes.
Commissioner Gamera,
Yes.
Commissioner Arias.
Yes.
Okay, now, next is approval of task orders for old and new landfill.
I could present that. Thank you, Mayor. So now that we've had the agreement approved and notice of award, these two task orders are something that reoccurs every year for the city of Tucumcari. We contract with this engineer to provide some environmental monitoring and reporting services. And in doing so, they do it both for the new and old landfill. And I have confirmed it is 30 years that we have to upkeep the old landfill. With that being stated, we're underneath crunch time right now because we have semi-annual reporting requirements and those are due at the end of the year. So as soon as we get these task orders, I respectfully request that you approve them. And then I could forward this on to the engineering firm tomorrow and we could get everything knocked out, get into compliance, make sure we have everything turned in before the end of the year.
Okay,
Do we have monitoring wells there or what?
Yes, sir. We have to have monitoring wells at both locations. There are routine samples we do for methane and leachate that are done internally through our sanitation superintendent, street sanitation superintendent. And there's some other things that have to be conducted that are above us. So in return, we go ahead and contract with the engineering firm for them to do that and set up the sampling. And then they submit all the reports and documents to NMED on our behalf. Very reputable firm. We've been working with them for years, and they provide a great service to the city of Tucumcari.
Actually, what you're saying is for 30 years, we're mandated by the state to monitor them and see that that we comply with whatever's required. Following that, then we don't have to go with the EPA or require monitoring, but still the liability still lies in the city because of whatever was dumped there during the period of time was owned and the city's waste was there. So actually, the 30 years is the monitoring and what's required to do that.
It's not only monitoring, we also have to keep up with the site and make sure there's vegetation there and that there's not loose sand. So it's
But after 30 years, even though we do still assume liability if there's anything there that contributes to any health hazards and stuff like that.
all right. Any other questions from any of the commissioners?
I've got a curious question.
Okay.
Are they gonna be able to do this report for the end of the year?
oh, absolutely. We've already been in, when we were going through the contract negotiations, we've been in communication with them and yeah, no problem whatsoever. They'll be on site next week.
Actually, on the 28th.
28th, yeah, 2 weeks. I'm thinking after the Christmas holiday.
Yes.
Right, 28th.
Okay, Commissioner Arias?
Thank you, Mayor. So the funds for this does come out of the sanitation budget, correct?
Correct.
And those funds are available?
They are. It's budgeted annually.
Commissioner Villanueva, do you have any questions or comments?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so I would entertain a
I would
motion.
like to make a note real quick.
Okay,
The dollar amount for the new Tucumcari landfill is not to exceed $17,300. And for the old landfill, it's not to exceed $11,400. So I just wanted to put that on the record as well.
okay, thank you. I would entertain a motion to approve the task orders for the old and new landfill.
Madam Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve the task orders for the old and new landfill.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Duplantis.
Yes.
Commissioner Moya,
Yes.
Commissioner Gamera,
Yes.
Commissioner Arias,
Yes.
Mayor Litchfield.
Yes. Next on the agenda is approval of change order 2 for Second Street Improvement Project. Ralph Lopez will be presenting that.
Mayor, Commissioners, our ongoing Second Street project is getting close to being finished. We did a change order on this project to adjust the site to better match the north side closer to the depot, and to save some money on the project as well. On the north side, they got rid of the actual brick pavers and used stamped, colored concrete. And this change order does that for the Second Street side as well. It saved us $135,553.28
Wow.
on this project now. Which gets us in really good shape on the project, and we may need some money later on to extend the side streets when we pave out a little bit. So there's a smoother transition. The existing cross-section of the road was a really high arc, and our new road is more of a 2% standard crown. And that transition from one to the other in a short amount of time would be pretty abrupt, so we see the need for doing that down the road, and this gives us a little bit of money to do that, and actually a little bit of leeway on the project in case we have unforeseen site circumstances, and the final quantities may come out a little higher than what we expected on the project. So
Okay.
this time I'd like to ask for your approval of this change order.
Okay, Mayor Pro Tem Palacios, you have any questions?
Nope, I'm ready to see it get done. I'm tired of having to
Yes,
circle
sir.
around the block.
Yeah.
No one's more than
I
me.
always forget it's blocked off, and I make the turn, and I have to turn around.
It has been very inconvenient. We've had to deal with a lot of problems on that project from that, so.
Yes, but it sure is looking good. Commissioner Moore, you have any questions?
You said on the new paving coming in, it's gonna be a little different grade, but where we stop doing the paving and then you go into the 400 block or the 300 block. Is there gonna be like a bump or a hump or what?
That's what we're trying to avoid. We
Yeah,
see
because
that
it is
yeah.
very, the street is very,
the longer we make that transition, the smoother it'll be. So we're hoping with this money, we can extend those out before they pave. That's why it's kind of crucial to get this done now and have that money available, because once they pave it, they'll demobilize the paving equipment, and then we won't have a chance to do any of that type of work. So, and there may be other things that come up as well. So we're trying to leave ourselves a little cushion on the end of this.
and how long are we still looking at this project?
They were supposed to have paved 2 weeks ago, and the weather's gotten them twice on that. They're still doing sidewalk work. It's a little bit more complicated than our normal streets in that we're doing it in that great block style. It's got self-watering, I forget what water collectors, I guess, and tree grates with plumbing and electricity and everything in them. So the concrete work has been a little bit more complicated than normal, and then we also have to meet the strict ADA requirements, where in a lot of places they were not very good. So it's supposed to be done by the end of December, and it's going to be close getting that done. So we will have another change order, I'm sure, to adjust the final quantities in place. So
Is some of that sidewalk not gonna be so tall anymore? What was it, like 12 inches or more?
where we could, so there was some existing sidewalk there by I forget the name of that CYFD building, I believe it is.
Yeah.
that-
Yeah, that block was the
That's
worst.
very high. In fact, we couldn't even make the ADA slopes with that existing sidewalk. What we've done is we've actually added another sidewalk behind our tree grates that meets ADA requirements, and we put up barriers to discourage ADA travel up to the higher sidewalk. Foot travel can go over it real easy.
I'm gonna have double sidewalk?
We are in that place there, and the sidewalk that they have is actually on their property. It's not on the city right of way. So everything we're doing on the city right of way is ADA compliant, and it will be a lot actually smoother, more pleasing to look at. And then there'll be a transition up to their sidewalk that would not meet ADA. So we've had to do a little bit of extra engineering on that area because of the elevation
Well,
difference
you-
from theirs.
The sidewalk, just bust your doors every time you open it.
Right, so
And the business, how they doing?
they're doing okay. I can't speak for them from COVID, I think has been their biggest problem. But we've really bent over backwards trying to keep their access there. Yeah, we've had to put plywood out in places. The contractor's done a really good job. Communication wasn't always the best with the businesses when we first started out, but we really tried to work on that. And Main Street has really been helpful. Connie's been kind of the one that's taken the brunt of the complaints, and she's passed them along to us.
Bless her heart.
She's really been helpful on this project.
So how long more do you think that thing?
Hopefully by the end of the month, that's what we're shooting for, assuming the weather lets them pave. That's been our holdup so far. It's still wet on the site from these last little snows, an inch snow isn't much, but all the buildings collect it and drop it right on the street, and the other streets funnel it right into our project, so it, a little bit of moisture goes a long ways on an unpaved street, so.
Okay. All right, Commissioner Arias?
Thank you, Mayor. I'm glad to hear communication with the service owners down there has gotten better. I know I had several calls at the beginning, so thank you for that. Thank you, Connie, for bridging that gap. I'm with everyone else. I'll be glad to see it finished.
Commissioner Van Huyven, do you have any questions, comments?
Just one question. Where did those get the hot mix at, Ralph?
I do not know, sir. To be
Okay.
honest with you, we have no direct control over the contractor. All we have control over is that it meets specs. I know they were originally gonna get it from Versatile right when the plant burned down. Versatile has put up another plant, but I have no control over where they get it, and I honestly don't know.
Yes, sir, I understand. Yes, sir. And, I was gonna tell you, after all the work is done, it's gonna have like some kind of warranty, right?
It will. We have, the 1-year warranty is standard on all these projects. We will do an 11-month inspection, and anything that's not still holding up, that's to standards, will get replaced.
Okay. Thank you, Ralph. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
That's it, Mayor.
Okay, there's no other comments or questions. I'd entertain a motion to approve the change order 2 for Second Street Improvement Project.
I'll make a motion, we approve the change order 2 for Second Street Improvements Project.
I'll entertain a second.
I'll second.
I'll second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Moya,
Yes.
Commissioner Villanueva,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Arias,
Yes.
Mayor Litchfield,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Duplantis.
Yes.
Next on the agenda is the approval of SAP grant agreement for Tucumcari Sewer Infrastructure Improvement Project.
Did you save us more money, Ralph?
We'll see. This is the agreement that actually goes with the resolution that we did earlier. It's with the Environment Department, and it was a awarded grant, with no matching from the legislature. It's the work that we're gonna do for the East Route 66, and as we discussed earlier, once we get, go out for RFP and, get an engineer on board, we'll have a better idea of how we can get the most bang for our $300,000 that we were awarded. It's a long agreement. We read through it, and everything seems to be in order and like we're used to on these projects. So I have no qualms about asking for your approval on this agreement.
Anyone have any questions on this agreement?
No, ma'am.
Okay,
No, ma'am. No, Mayor.
okay. If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the SAP grant agreement for Tucumcari Sewer Infrastructure.
Madam, I make a motion that we approve the SAP grant agreement for the Tucumcari Sewer Infrastructure Improvement Project.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Villanueva,
Yes.
Commissioner Arias,
Yes.
Mayor Litchfield,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Duplantis.
Yes.
Commissioner Moya.
Yes.
Okay, next is the approval of notice of award RFP 20-04 wastewater reuse improvement project, and this is also confidential right now.
Yes. So these are the results from the evaluation committee. We received 5 proposals as listed here. 4 of them were found to be responsive, however, 1 of them was not. A committee of 5 evaluated the responses, also using the attached instruments, and the evaluation committee also interviewed the top 3 proposals. Again, those are listed, and you'll see the totals and the who the evaluation committee is proposing.
Okay.
And I
Any,
ask for your approval.
okay. Any questions or comments on this?
Just glad to see it moving forward.
If not, I would entertain a motion to approve notice of award for RFP 20-04 wastewater reuse improvement project.
Madam Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve RFP 20.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Arias,
Yes.
Mayor Litchfield,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Duplantis.
Yes.
Commissioner Moya,
Yeah.
Commissioner Villanueva.
Yes.
Okay. Next is approval of the notice. Is that the second one there, the approval of the notice, or do we go to G?
We go to G.
Okay, approval of professional services agreement for RFP 20-04 wastewater reuse improvement project.
And just
So-
keep in mind that the name is still confidential. Thank you.
I'm gonna apologize ahead of time. For some reason, my packet that I printed out does not have it showing in it. So I'm gonna tell it to you from memory, so I remember it. So,
Okay,
we're, seeking an agreement with this engineer in order to begin the design, or actually the study of the environmental portion of the reuse project. We were awarded, 5.2 million, for the reuse project. And this is from this RFP that you just approved, that, this is the engineering portion of that. And I apologize, I do not have that number, right in front of me for that.
is that, this one that you just gave us, Angelica?
No.
No, it's in the packet though, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay,
I just
okay.
apologize.
Ralph just didn't, I didn't know if that
I
was.
just don't have it in front of me.
Ralph, the amount is $347,679.
Right, thank you.
And that includes, like Ralph was saying, I'll pick it up from here, Ralph, if you don't mind. So it's
Please.
planning phase services. Task one would be the project management. The engineer will provide the following services as part of the task: conduct project kickoff meeting with the owner and NMED personnel to determine design criteria and preferences. Other project management responsibilities to be completed under this task include management of subcontracts, project accounting, scheduling and budget tracking, and maintenance of project files. We could go on other site investigations and permitting, like Ralph was talking about, some of the environmental surveys that had to be conducted. There's also surveying that has to be done on the property.
Cammering the existing line, if I remember right.
Yes, sir. That was the next one on.
I'm sorry.
Geotechnical exploration, doing some sampling just to see exactly how we're gonna proceed forward. This is all the preliminary stuff. That way we could see exactly what's gonna be needed. Do we need to construct one large pond, multiple smaller ponds? And then once we have this agreement, I would respectfully request for an approval. I do have a representative from the engineering firm online that would be able to answer any more specific details and probably go into a little bit more depth than I could. So at this time, if there's any more questions I could answer, I'd be willing to, or if Ralph, and if not, then I'd ask for an approval, and any other further information can be provided from the engineering firm of choice.
Okay, Commissioner Moyer, you have any questions?
This is on the 300 acres that we're talking about, not necessarily with the experimental, station or that, is it?
No, so you're correct. This is for the acreage that we just recently
Yeah,
purchased.
Smith property.
Correct.
So this will be the first step in that direction.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Duplantis, you have any questions?
No.
Okay, Commissioner Arias,
No, ma'am.
Commissioner Villanueva?
No, Mayor, I don't.
Okay, I would entertain a motion to approve professional services agreement for RFP 20-04 for the wastewater reuse improvement project.
Madam Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve the engineering agreement for RFP 20-04.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, roll call please.
Commissioner Arias,
Yes.
Mayor Litchfield.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Duplantis.
Yes.
Commissioner Moya,
Yes.
Commissioner Gandara.
Yes.
Next is old business, acknowledgement of the Lodgers Tax Advisory Board minutes for March 4th. We don't have to do anything, we just acknowledge that we have them and we have read them. So, and if you haven't read them, you can read them later, I guess. All right, under new business, we have approval to carry over annual leave for city employees. Mark, are you gonna present that?
Yes, ma'am, I'll be presenting that. It's been no confusion with this whole year. It's been very difficult due to COVID. And one of the things I wanted to do to some of the employees that were shortchanged, some departments were not able to take their leave as they normally would due to some shortages because of COVID. Positive employees within some of those departments. So in order to do this, to be able to roll over their leave, we have to bring it to the city commission. So it started with a few departments, and then as things have escalated within the past month since November, our cases have been up. I felt it was only right to try to be able to roll over their annual leave. Personal leave days still have to be expended by the end of the calendar year. If not, they will be lost. But this is only for annual leave. Typically, a hourly employee is able to carry over 120 hours. And a salaried position is able to carry 160 over. So with that, I kindly request that you allow the city to allow these employees to carry over their leave with the understanding they are expected to take that amount next year and be within the requirements at the end of the next calendar year, hopefully with the COVID permitting.
And I think that sounds like a good idea to let our employees know that we do appreciate them putting in the extra hours instead of taking their leave. So, there's any other comments or questions?
The only thing is, how many hours what are we looking at? Because, you know, anytime you carry over, you have to carry that in the budget, and you have to guarantee it.
And
So if anybody quits, we have to compensate them. And so actually, because of the budget being so tight, I'm not trying to be contradictory about it, but I just am more concerned. I think they deserve it. I think they work hard. It is horrible with the COVID that people aren't able to do that. But at the same time, we have a city to make sure that we able to financially stay stable. And
I
we
agree.
have to cut services.
And I have a printout of the leave. It's not 100% accurate because any leave that was scheduled for this last pay period for the end of the month, so a new pay period will actually start on the 29th. All of that leave, whether it's been entered or people are planning to use it, it's not associated in the printout that I have. So what I did was I started with the printouts of through the current pay period, which just ended on Monday. And there's nothing that's going to be ridiculous that would put the city on the spot. This has been discussed internally already to make sure that we have the finances there to do this. So it's been discussed with the finance director previously. Like I said, it started off with a few departments, and I felt if it was good for one, I had to do it for everybody. With that being said, I had been reaching out to some of the department heads and telling them, you still need to do your very best to utilize your leave, and your employees need to use your leave as much as possible. So still, as of today, I've seen some employees that were on my printout that showed maybe they had 200 hours, and they've taken it down all the way where they have like 0.2 hours. So it's not in a spot where I think it's going to impact us financially. We do have some savings due to a lot of vacancies we have in a few departments right now. So in our financial means, we're more than able to provide this to our employees.
Okay, yeah, well, the question is, because the budget is the way it is, we definitely do not want to go to this situation where people quit and retire, and then we have to compensate them. And then that comes back to the general fund and the budget, you know, and that's not what I like to see the city in the handicap part. But I think they deserve it. I don't see any problem, as long as the city has taken the accurate measurements to make sure that we can actually financially afford it.
Yes, sir, we have.
Okay, any other questions? Mayor Pro Tem Duplantis?
Nope.
Commissioner Arias?
No, ma'am.
Commissioner Villanueva?
No, ma'am.
Okay, then I would entertain a motion to approve the carryover annual leave for city employees.
I'll make a motion that we approve the carryover of annual leave for the city employees.
I'll second.
Okay, roll call please.
Mayor Pro Tem Duplantis.
Yes.
Commissioner Moya,
Yes.
Commissioner Villanueva,
Yes.
Commissioner Arias,
Yes.
Mayor Litchfield.
Yes. Next on the agenda is the city manager's report.
Yes, ma'am. I'd like to take some of this time to introduce Mr. Robert Fowley from CDM Smith. They're the engineering firm that will be designing and working on the wastewater reuse project. He had phoned in tonight, and I wanted to give him a chance to say a few words. Robert, go ahead.
Okay.
Thank you, Mark. Mayors, members of the commission, I'm Robert Fowley from C.M. Smith. I just wanted to thank you for the selection and the confidence that you have shown in us through the selection and also the approval of our engineering services contract earlier this evening. Mark did a good job of going through what was involved in that contract and what we're planning to do. There are a number of site investigations that are the major portion of that contract. And at the end of this particular phase, we will know exactly what we are going to do for the wastewater reuse project, how the layout of the ponds, pumping station, irrigation pivot, and the 30% design that will enable us to quickly finish up the remainder of the project and get it out for bid in 2021. So again, thank you very much for this opportunity, and I look forward to working with you guys next year.
Thank you. We appreciate you calling in, and we're looking forward to working with you also.
Thank you, and since I probably won't see you, I wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Same to you from all of us.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you, Mark.
Next on my manager's report, I've been asked to relay that Santa Claus is coming to Tucumcari on Tuesday, December 22nd from 4:30 to 6:30. Been being asked to bring your child to safely visit Santa Claus at the drive-up window at F&B New Mexico, a division of First Bank and Trust located on 101 East Route 66 Boulevard. And this was brought to you by F&B New Mexico as well as Tucumcari Main Street. I also wanted to give an update. The long-awaited rebranding launch is officially tomorrow. We've been putting social media posts out on Facebook, trying to get the word out. I'm very excited. It's kind of like a fresh start. You're starting from scratch, and this is the first step moving in the right direction to really start pushing for, really pushing new marketing for Tucumcari to try to start hopefully with the spring and summer seasons coming up next year. So be on the lookout tomorrow. Next, this one is probably the best news I've received in a long time. Finally, our city audit has been turned in on time. I signed off the last paperwork and talked with Axiom, and it has been turned in on time, so that makes me really happy. Next, I wanted to address some previous comments. One was with the lighting in numerous locations across the city. I have been in contact, as I say last time, with Excel, talked with their representatives, as well as been working with Chris Grease from Facilities Maintenance. He has reached out to electrical contractors to get quotes. That way we could start working on those lights and getting them up and operational again. Also this week I had the pleasure with meeting with Plateau. Previously in a commission meeting, we had approved the agreement to allow them to put what they call a cellular on wheels out on two old landfills ago, the original that I know from being small off of 104. They'll be putting that up to extend their service to those that are currently having slower, reception Wi-Fi speeds and whatnot. With everybody doing school from home now and working from home, it's really bogged down the system, so they're doing that to provide better customer service. And in return, in doing so, as providing a service to the community, really trying to help out the community. I know the commission, we never put a price on what we expected from Plateau. We're working on good business relation with them. So what they've talked to me about doing is cleaning up the area where they'll be putting the cow, as well as the existing gate, if you can call that, it's in pretty bad shape. They'll be installing new gates, new locks and whatnot. So I look forward to partnering with them and then being able to finally get their side of things done so they can extend that service to the customers. Another concern that was brought up was about some of the stuff left on the property that we purchased for the reuse project we've discussed. My wastewater superintendent has been in contact with the individual, and he has been given a deadline to get things off of there. He has, throughout this time, when I was told, he's continually been getting things off as far as equipment. I heard there's some cattle on there and that will be removed
Yeah,
as soon as
I had
possible.
some people call me on that, that's why I brought it up,
Correct.
that he was still utilizing it like it was his.
And that's been addressed, and he'll be removing everything from there as soon as possible. And with that, I believe that wraps up my manager's report. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Next is, items from commissioners. I'll start with Mayor Pro Tem Duplantis.
Okay, with the lighting, so it was determined the light poles are our responsibility, not Excel's?
Correct. So what happens is the poles are owned by Excel, but the wire and conduit in between the poles is the city's. We own that. That's our responsibility. So Excel will go out there and they'll conduct it, make sure it's not just one of their lights, the lamp itself. And if it's not, once they troubleshoot it, if it's determined it's possibly wiring, then it's the city's responsibility to go hire a contractor to get an electrician out there to troubleshoot it or to replace the actual wire, which could be costly. So like I said, we're trying to get quotes. We're working on it as it goes. It's just, we only have so many electricians and they're swamped when it's cold. They're very busy. When it's hot, they're very busy. They're always busy. So we're working on it, and I just wanted to make sure that I put it out there. We're not sleeping on it. We're not overlooking it. It's being worked on.
Along with that, and I understand what you're saying. Are we gonna set up priorities? Cause I know the west side is dire that we get that taken care of, but I'm gonna say also on the east side of town, there's a spot between the hotels and around Mountain Road that is very dark in the morning, and there's a lot of deer that have been getting crossing that road. And I'm not saying, I think the west side should be handled first, my personal view, because that's been a stretch there. But I think we should go just like we do our roads, set priorities. And because I know we can't do them all at one time, just like we can't do all of our roads at one time.
So the way I handled it, and I kind of delegated it down, was my priority is based on first come, first serve, similar to the potholes. I got more complaints on the west side first, so that's been a long time coming. That'll get addressed. Like I said, we had people out there today looking into things, and then the rest will come as it goes. And again, once we see how much it costs, that could determine what kind of funds are we going to have to tap into. Do we have the available funds? We'll determine that once quotes come in.
Okay, and I didn't have this in my notes, but I do want to, I noticed, I get started really early in the mornings. I have noticed a lot of patrols with the police department going around the parks and people's homes with their spotlights on. So I know they're not just driving down the road, they're actually patrolling and checking. What's our status on a lot of the vandalism? Has it started letting up?
To me, no news is good news. I haven't heard anything out of the ordinary. And I would like to thank the police department. They've really been stepping up on patrol as far as doing some, making sure everyone's in regulation, make sure they're following the speed limit. I've had a lot of people notice that, so I do want to thank them for all their hard work and effort and getting out there and trying to minimize things as much as they can.
Well, they spotlighted me the other morning, had a hard time getting rid of my spray paint can. But just kidding. I had an individual bring up that, they have their water bill through a pay company. And that's not the problem. What they were concerned about, what happened was that they got a call, our automated system, which that's working the way we wanted it, but it called them at 5:01. And so when they tried to call the city, let them know that the payment was being processed, of course, nobody's answering the phone. Is there any way they can get that to where that call goes out earlier? I'm not sure how that call works, if it just starts in the morning and then when it gets to your number, or if it sends out one mass call.
To my knowledge, it starts auto calling everybody at 5, because when I'm here from 5 to 5:30 to 6, I know when that call goes out because the phone's ringing nonstop.
Is there any way to, bring that to where they call during the business hour?
I can try. I'll look into it.
I'm not going to get into, I'm just going to bring up the name of somebody, we have talked about this, and I just want to see if you had any more update on what we can do. But Mr. Aragon, with his request, we're not talking about big objects here, not at the beginning anyway, but this is a citizen that's wanting to do something that's a pleasure to look at, and it's been there, and if there's any way we can work in his favor, I'd greatly appreciate it if we can come up with something. Have you come up with anything since we talked about 20 minutes ago?
I have, and it was more than 20 minutes ago. You gave me at least a day's heads up, so.
Yes.
I did. I went out to the cemetery and discussed that with staff, and they did the research and looked it up. They actually went to the extent of measuring where the plots would lay out. It's really tight. So each plot lines up back to each other. And with that being said, it wouldn't be an issue per se now, that is maybe a seedling or something tiny, but as it grows out, the vegetation from that tree is going to grow out into the plot next to it. So based on that, their initial recommendation is not to allow it. And also, they also found it in the ordinance where it states no trees are allowed to be planted as of that ordinance. So I'd go off of what's written in ordinance as law. I mean, so at this point, without digging into it further, just from the quick email, the trip out there, without really being able to discuss with you, my initial thought is no.
Could you reach out to him?
I can.
Thank you.
Sorry, Mayor Pro Tem. May I, is it appropriate to inquire on what that was?
Well, Mr. Aragon, and I'm not sure the year that he did it, but years ago, he planted a couple of trees out at the cemetery. And he went out there, watered them, took care of them, they grew. And I don't know if it was last year or a year or so ago, when the beetles came out, those tree beetles, demolished them. And so they're down, but he was wondering if he could replant.
Understood, thank you.
But he didn't want to go out there and do it without knowing if it was gonna be okay, because I'm sure, he's an intelligent gentleman, he understands things change over years. But, my next one is for Angelica, and this is kind of as a citizen and as a commissioner question. This week, or the end of last week, I got my applications for my businesses. And the reason I'm bringing this up as a commission, because I know there's a lot of other businesses that are gonna run into the same thing. We've got till March to reissue that, and there's some of us that have to have certain permits to be functioning. I paid for my permits, and I'm sure these others have too. And the state is so far behind inspecting that we still have not got our permits. What if that's still going on in March? Do we have to pay late fees and everything else? Will we be able to renew our business license?
So what we can do, and I haven't had the problem yet, nobody's called me with that issue, but what we can do is come March, the business license has been paid. I can issue the license, put the file aside and just wait until I receive something, maybe follow up with you guys every couple of weeks.
The state was talking about doing virtual inspections, and then all of a sudden they just dropped off the face of the earth, and they're not, it's hard to get a hold of anybody anywhere. But that's been my biggest concern, is I gotta put my permit numbers, and I know all the other restaurants do too. Now, a lot of it also, my two restaurants, the permits came up after COVID. So I paid them, and I've got the proof to pay them, and like I said, this was back in June. So I still not, normally you're inspected within that 30 days and you get your permit and everything. So was my concern. I know it's gonna be not just my concern, but all the restaurants along, Tucumcari or in Tucumcari, when theirs start coming up and, unfortunately Scott can't get out.
Yeah, I can still issue the business licenses without those permits. I'll just tag those businesses and just keep in contact with them.
That's good. I hate to bring this one up, but we haven't talked about it in a while, so I think I'm going to. We have a boat update.
Oh my God, you did.
Oh, gosh.
We do actually. Good. The attorney advised us just to let it be and get rid of it. He said it's a waste of time, effort, and money to continue forward with it.
Okay.
That's a recommendation, right? Okay. All right, that's all I have, Madam Mayor.
All right, so the guy will defend us.
Okay. Commissioner Moya?
Well, on the same keynote on the boat, I did have Mr. Pacheco and them coming yesterday over to my office about it. And I might be in trouble because I told him we didn't have a commission meeting, so today I thought we didn't have a commission meeting, so he wanted to call in to get the status on what's going on with the boat. Maybe you can call him and let him know that, because I'm sure I'm gonna get it because I told him we didn't have a commission meeting. I hope he don't think that I was trying to keep from calling in.
For the record, can you say one more time it was your fault?
No, but I can tell you one thing. I didn't mean that. I just the numbers did not up with me for the day of the meeting, and I know we discussed it here. And I know every citizen has the right to express and voice their opinion, and that wasn't my intention, it's just that I got the wrong number. So if you don't mind calling me or somehow letting me know that we're in the process of doing something with the vote, because he came to my office yesterday.
Yes, sir, I'll reach out to Mr.
And
Pacheco.
let him know that, okay? And then I did have some people that came into town from out of state, some old fraternity brothers. And they did make some comments on the west side of town, how bad it was. I don't know if they were making comments or goofing on me, either one. They said it really looks like the city was through World War II or World War I when we got. It looked really bad. Is there anything going on with those, like the old Sheraton truck stop and all those? I know they're isolated from the main part of the community, but still has that kind of impression on there.
So there was, I don't have an exact update on where we're at with code enforcement. Unfortunately, on a lot of the code enforcement stuff, I'm not gonna have any kind of update or comment for a little bit. Unfortunately, our code enforcement officer has been ill. So I can reach out to the chief and see if he knows specifically or if he could go through the files. If not, then I'll have to wait until that individual's back at work.
I don't understand. If the individual is out, he's the head of the department, he should be able to answer your question.
Correct, and that's why I said I'll reach out to the chief, and if he has the answer, then I'll know. If not, then I'll ask him to go through the files.
Because the last time we were talking about the vote, he said that wasn't his job, so I hope this is. So that's one of the things that are really, a lot of people have been asking about. It's not that big of a deal, but at the same time, it does look a little chaotic out there. And the reason I say is that it's not in the main town, but it's still on the outer skirts. And what's going on with the relax in that in 2012, the city did condemn it and everything. Any progress on that?
No, sir, not that I know of this time. I will also look into that.
Yeah, because really, I know financially the city cannot afford to go in and do anything, but something that maybe we could work with the land, whoever or whatever, see if they can do something with it, because the whole buildings back there are really getting dilapidated. They're all over the streets when you drive there, the shingles, everything else, just look bad. So that, and on the landfill, we still got a lot of land available for the future of the city of Tucumcari. I know there was, what was it, about 500 acres we got purchased, to give 200 some to the feedlot.
So we have plenty of land. The thing is now the current sales are filling up quickly. So we're getting to that point where we're gonna have to start. And that's part of the engineering contract tonight. We have professional services for the landfill through Park Hill. They were the engineering company that was awarded. And to answer your question, yes, it's filling up. We do have plenty of land, but we need to start looking at the potential to open a new cell within the near future.
Well, yeah, and the reason that location was actually chosen was because of the water table. And so when I found, when I saw that they had given 200 acres to a developer, I thought, well, that's kind of harsh, because if the city grows in the future, they're really gonna have a hard time looking for, because there was a lot of studies trying to figure out where we could find the water level that wasn't that high, and that was one of the areas that was an ideal location.
Yes, sir. We've been saving some money in the sanitation budget specifically for that, to start looking into the engineering of a new cell, as well as saving money for construction of a new cell.
Well, the other thing I have is I just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and hopefully a Happy New Year's, and hopefully the COVID will be under control a year from today. It really has brought on a lot of stress and a lot of difficulty for the residents of Tucumcari. Hopefully this New Year's bring a better future for some of us who are still under a lot of fear of the COVID.
Amen.
That's all I have.
Okay, Commissioner Villanueva, it's your turn.
Alrighty, Mayor, thank you. I got a call yesterday about front of the TriStar, about the lighting there. There's two lights that are not working. want to see what we can do.
Yes, sir, that's part of the XL lighting that we previously discussed. It's being looked at.
Oh, it's getting looked at.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And about our following machine, have you heard anything about the mailings or anything?
No, sir, and I think as far as millings for the pothole machine, that's gonna be in a second phase. I do have Mr. Lopez at Community Development drawing up some paperwork to get some millings for other locations. But unfortunately, the pothole machine is down again due to the mixing area. It has a wear out spots due to the friction where it rubs. This is the second time that this has happened. And again, I really think we're gonna have to look into buying a new pothole machine because this continues to reoccur. We're starting to put more money into it than it's worth at this point. So I think it's gonna be a wiser investment to go ahead and put that money into a new pothole machine.
Okay. Another question, I had a lady ask me earlier about property over here by the rec center, the city yard. If somebody's gonna fix that canvas or whatever to hide the cars and stuff.
I will, yes, sir, I'll relay that to the streets department.
Okay. And somebody was asking me about the old Tim Carey Inn. If somebody's gonna clean it up, it looks like a landfill with too many couches, beds and stuff, you know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
So, I tell them I don't know what's the deal on that. I know there's, we're still having problems with the property owners, right?
I'm not aware of any issues we have with the property owners, but it does need to be cleaned up.
Yes, sir.
That's the one I think you referenced, that's Sheraton.
Do what?
Like Ken?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it the Sheraton or old Tim Carey Inn?
Which one is it? There's one that they are over here by Kid.
The one on the west side of town, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
the
oh,
Sheraton.
okay,
Yeah.
because the other one's also Tim Carey Inn.
Yeah, they keep
Right.
it.
Yeah, and they keep it pretty clean.
Yeah.
That's why I wondered, I said, wow. Must really be blind.
Yes, sir, that's part of the west end of town we're talking about as well, so
No, Sheraton.
I'll look into that
Put
as
your
well.
Santa hat back on.
Okay, and then somebody was asking me about the cemetery wall. Has it been fixed or has it?
No, sir, it hasn't. The last update I had from the insurance agent was he was going out to get quotes from local vendors to try to get them to repair it and charge it to the other individual's insurance. So I will reach out to the insurance agent and see where we're at with that.
Okay, that's all I really got. And like I say, hope everybody has a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And hopefully we can get rid of this COVID. Please people wear masks and, stay distant, 6 feet. That's all I got.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Arias?
Thank you, Mayor. I want to thank Connie Loveland and Main Street and all her volunteers that she's had these past couple months doing the cash mobs with our local businesses. I know the mayor and myself have been involved with assisting in those. There is one more tomorrow. It involves upholstery at 6 p.m. It'll be shared on the Chicken Carry Main Street Facebook page. There's some good deals on sofas, wind chimes, mattresses, bird feeders. We've got all kinds of good stuff going on some sale for you here. It's gonna be at 6 o'clock with the Chicken Carry Main Street. I do also want to thank all the individuals and Chicken Carry Main Street for all the time they put into the branding. It's really gonna be something good for our community. It's gonna give us a nice little facelift and let us represent ourselves out to the community. We have some good stuff coming ahead of us. As soon as we can get past everything that's going on, we're gonna be in much better shape. Troy and I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Is that all?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, first of all, I'd like to thank Axiom for getting our audit turned in on time. That makes us all feel better. Today we had a legislative forum. It was very interesting. I know Mark and I attended. Commissioner Arias said he got in on part of it, but just, hearing our Senator Pat Woods and Representative Chatfield couldn't be there, but we heard some of the new electees, and so it was very interesting. It went on for about an hour, and Lieutenant Governor Howie's,
Morales.
Morales. He was there, and so, yeah, he does like to. The other thing I wanted to talk about tonight, I'm very proud of this individual for what she's doing. Her name is Jamie Hoffman, and she's our county assessor. She has started a new campaign, and it's a suicide prevention campaign, and it's called Make the Call. And she's on the front page of the paper this week. I think it's very commendable of her to start this, because our suicide rate has been up lately. And so I would like to thank her for all her hard work and efforts in doing that. Also would like to thank our street department. Everybody else has a complaint, but two of the streets that I had turned in, not even in my area of town, but one down by my church. I mean, it looks like a polka dot street because of all the potholes that were there, but it has been fixed, and I do appreciate that. And there was another street on that I had gone down that had the potholes fixed. So they are doing some of them, I do know that. So they're not just sitting around doing nothing. So I do appreciate that. I also would like to wish everybody a very, very, very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And it's hard to believe that our next meeting will be January the 14th. So that seems like forever. So anyway, everybody please stay safe, enjoy your holidays, and just keep all of our people that are ill. I know the helicopter's been flying out frequently lately, and it's very sad when you see it going, because you know it's not someone that's well. So anyway, so keep our residents that are sick in your prayers, and God bless Tucumcari, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
Roll call?
Commissioner Moya? Commissioner Ganleva?
Yes.
Commissioner Arias?
Yes.
Mayor Litchfield?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Duplantis?
Yes.
Hey, Commissioner Villanueva, are you still on?
Yes, ma'am.
You stayed well during this